Thank you, Anirban. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining in for today's session. This is Abhiraj, and over the next 45 to 50 minutes, I'll take you through the session where we'll talk about a number of pertinent things about your channels, some of the opportunities that exist around marketing better to your channels, empowering and enabling your channels, and looking into some areas where really an insurer can do a lot in terms of how one can use their channels for not just acquisition, but also better customer servicing and also cross-sell and upsell. Channels play an important part in insurers' plans, and we've kind of looked at some of the things or aspects that are key to what an insurance channel really means. We've looked at various statistics, numbers, and some trending around what is happening with channels vis-a-vis revenue and vis-a-vis how customers respond to channels. So we'll kind of set that as a backdrop, and then we'll look at what are some implications of the trending that's happening right now. We'll also cover what we typically call engagement marketing. So we'll look at what truly engagement marketing is. How does it impact channels? What does it mean for you as a producer or a carrier? And finally, how does engagement marketing really empower your channels to do better? It's a small journey into looking at an aspect of your business which is critical because so much hinges on it. And finally, we'll look at some potential outcomes that that a carrier can really take away from this session. Outcomes that can potentially have a big impact on the way you are using your channels for better business. We'll start off with giving you a quick overview into eDynamics insurance practice. We are extremely focused on this industry, and over the past few years, we have been working with a lot of leading insurers, and that has driven the practice around insurance. We are a digital solutions firm that provides strategic customer lifecycle marketing, channel enablement, and collaboration solutions for insurers. And we are driven by the way we engage end customers through design experiences, as well as our expertise with contemporary digital platforms. Our service portfolio straddles strategy, design, marketing technologies, as well as demand creation, which is digital marketing, basically. So we have a wide range of services for this vertical, as you can see here, which covers pretty much most parts of the spectrum as far as digital is concerned for insurance companies. We are a global firm spread out across different countries and geographies. In North America, we are at several locations, and globally we have presence across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia Pacific. We also have different models, and engagement is basically driven by all these different models. To a lot of insurers, we are consultants. We also offer full-scale agency services and implement projects on a one-time or retained service basis. Like I said, insurance is a vertical that we've done a lot of work in over the years. We worked with different types of insurers, whether it's life, health insurers, or even P&C companies. So we've been focused on B2C and B2B customers for insurance. More than 10 years of experience and a lot of projects that we've delivered on digital for insurance. Some of the things that kind of differentiate us from a lot of other agencies in insurance are that we provide holistic solutions for customer lifecycle engagement marketing, channel enablement, and also agent empowerment, some of which we're going to be presenting our expertise on in today's session. We work with several leading insurers. Some of those include New York Life, Aviva, Bupa, Liberty Mutual. This is a geographic spread of how we are located across different geographies. And these are some customers that we worked with over the years with different kinds of solutions, services, and strategies. Okay. So starting out with some key trends in insurance distribution channels. At the start of this session, I mentioned that we'll kind of set a picture for you to provide some context into why we're having this session or why we feel that channels are so important and really have a big bearing on your business. A lot of these numbers would not be unfamiliar to any of you, but we want to reiterate the fact that the importance of channels can't be understated. It is a recognized form of doing business in this vertical, but also the fact that the end customers, who are the most important people as far as you're concerned, they also want to use channels. So over a series of trending statistics and numbers, what you're going to see is how customers are reacting to your channels and what are their views on it. So it's about convenience, convenience in the form of a tool that an agent can provide to a customer, or customer service video chat that a broker can provide to an end customer, all on your behalf. So it is something that can be not ignored. But I think that the key thing here is that right across the life cycle of a customer, whether it's seeking information, advice, making a purchase, or even looking at servicing and claims, the role of the channel really has always been important in terms of how things have moved the past few years. When we talk about customers, we also look at what they truly value. One of the things that is important for customers, and that has been kind of redefined over the years, is the way they respond to different channels, and what is their experience. So if an end customer is talking to a carrier directly via a call center or in-house sales team, what is the experience that they get versus when they speak to an agent or a broker or even a bank partner? So what you see here basically tells you that the customer's perception of what is important to them is basically the consistency. It's a consistency of communication, of exchange, of needs versus what you can offer to me. All of that across different channels is really what a customer is seeking. So it shouldn't be any different when somebody talks to your channel rather than talk to you directly. When we were planning this session for all of you, one of the key indicators of how the importance of channels can be kind of reinstated was to look at how revenue is contributed by the channels to your business. So if you look at this is a very interesting illustration of how things have really moved or not really moved in the past 5 years. So if you look at these two statistics very carefully, there's not much difference. The only perceptible difference is the fact that revenues, through bank channels have kind of dropped, and those through independent brokers or agents has kind of increased. So that is the only perceptible change on surface. But the key thing here is that when you look at direct responses and any other avenues through which revenues are coming into insurers, that has not really changed from 2008 to 2012. What it tells us is a couple of interesting things, and I'll probably tie this into another later statistic that we are going to be presenting shortly after this. The overall spread of revenue across channels is equally predominant as it was 5 years ago. So nothing's changed there. But there are some minor differences in spread. But the interesting thing here is, and I'll come to that, in this particular visual, this is showing revenue by distribution channel. So we're talking about agents, independent agents and affiliated agents, and we are comparing that with direct responses and any other categories through which revenue is accruing to insurers, and this is over a 10-year period. Now you see a big difference here. So it's a big difference in the on the basis of collected premium for the first year, which is an important benchmark in revenue. So if you kind of tie this into what we saw just a bit earlier, the trend basically says that the revenue share has remained predominant, but it is significantly high, for first year collected premium through your channels as opposed to your internal or other sources. And of course, there are good reasons behind that. There is a much larger spread in terms of how your channels are working for you. There's more people, more bodies, more resources being deployed by them, and right through the channel. So those are good reasons. But another good reason here is that if the revenue trends are high for channels, then what it tells us is that there's possibly more that can be done if some more things are done, and we'll talk about some of those things in today's session. So the truth is that you tend to focus more on aspects of business that really drive the maximum bang for your buck. And the very reason why we are having today's session, as I said, is because we believe that the contribution of your channels to revenue will even increase from where it is if those channels are really enabled and empowered. And we'll come to that as we go along in today's presentation. There was a lot of statistics that we came across as part of the research that we did, but a few key indicators of what really your channel's interest is. Having established that they play a key role in your revenue, what we wanted to look at and show to you was how can that revenue be better. So leading up to that, we wanted to have a look at what is your channel's interest in, in specific digital features or capabilities. And there are a lot of items here that you can see, but I think we've kind of narrowed down to a couple of items just to illustrate. And one of those is the ability to track marketing campaigns. Now, the producers have their own campaigns. They'll take a lot of materials from carriers, but they'll run their own campaigns, their own programs. What they want to know is how effective and efficient are their campaigns. And this is something that they are doing at their end. So if you see, there's a lot of people out there who who really can do much better. So as much as 60 to 70%, of your producer channel really wants the right kind of tools to track their marketing campaigns. The other interesting aspect of this is how many leads are really being provided by the carrier to a producer. So again, as many as 70 to 75% of your producer channel really really are looking at more contribution. They are getting some, but there's a lot more that they can get from carriers. So what it tells, the implications of this is that producers can do more. Of course, they are doing a lot of campaigns to acquire demand and customers, but they don't really know how effective those are. That is number one. And number two, they can do much more in terms of feeding their own pipelines through the carrier. So it's a trend towards the customer, towards trying to acquire more customers, make the process much more efficient, and do much more in terms of creating that kind of demand and having a lot more opportunities to work with. Again, continuing in the same vein, if you look at different types of producers, and again, there could be agents, there could be independent agents, there could be affiliates, there could be consortiums or agencies that are working for carriers, and some of these are better placed in terms of the kind of features and functionalities that they can use to talk to their end customers, to entice and attract and acquire end customers, and others that can do much better. So it's an interesting visual which tells you that if you look at a couple of items of interest, and one of them is online applications, where the larger agencies or people who've been working with carriers with much larger national or geography focused teams, they are better enabled, but it's the independent agents and the affiliates who really can do much more in areas like online applications. Similarly, as a follow-up process is so popular, and something that that is top of mind as far as capabilities are concerned for insurance. Again, the larger agencies are slightly better off, but it's basically the men out on the road, your affiliates and brokers and agents, who can do with much more help for this kind of functionality. Ultimately, it's all about customer acquisition, and what we're trying to establish here is the fact that capabilities, when translated from the carrier to the channel, can really have a big impact on what acquisition can really look like. And acquisition is all about revenue. So it's top-line revenue that gets impacted through any kind of acquisition strategy. Those are some numbers, and we kind of looked at a few key aspects there of what the training is all about. And then we looked at some areas of opportunity that really tell us that, look, there's things that can be done, that can be improved upon, and that can be really looked at to start on all afresh. So when we look at the different stakeholders, as far as the entire business of carriers to customers, carriers to channels, and channels to customers, if you break it down, into requirements that they may have, and then value propositions and features, it becomes very easy. It's simply very black and white as to what your bank portal should have, what your bank partner needs, what your agent portal should need to have, what your brokers really require to sell better, to market better. And again, this is not an exhaustive list by any means, and capabilities can keep getting added. But these are some areas where we immediately found, capabilities that can truly impact acquisition and revenue. Some of these you can see here. And the key thing, again, here is a couple of points here. When any of your channel partners need to sell or market better effectively, they need sales and marketing tools, they need training, education, they need customer information in a lot of instances. And beyond acquisition, they also want to have capabilities to onboard and service customers. So the journey does not end at acquisition; it only starts. So this entire life cycle of of the customer needs to be handled through the channel. And in a lot of instances, especially now, a lot of agents, brokers, banks, they want mobile applications, they want responsive portals, so that people can access them on the go at different points, and customers can be shown what they need to see, can be walked through a lot of products, a lot of requirement-led solutions that a carrier may have, as long as these features and capabilities are available on mobile. So that's a different discussion altogether, and we'll probably take it up in a subsequent session. But the key thing here is, again, focused on how you're reaching the customer effectively enough and with the right kind of tools so that they get interested in what you have to say. And this message is being filtered down across your portals, your partners, your bank partners, your brokers, your agents, everybody. Now, when we look at insurance and the way the industry is structured, there is a lot of things that happen between the carrier, the producer, and the customer, and we've tried to capture that in a single high-level view here. Whether you're B2C or B2B, sales, marketing, and distribution channel, internally and externally, can look something like this. It's high level, yes, but this is how you reach your end customer. Now, all of these outbound activities of reaching the customer across different stages of their life cycle is basically what drives new customers to you. It drives customer servicing, and then it drives upsell, cross-sell, it drives loyalty and referral. So it's all about communicating with your end customers, whether you're doing it directly or through a channel. The key part that I want to highlight here is that the means of reaching the end customer are right through, right through the channel. Externally or internally, you'll use events, you'll use webinars. In a lot of instances, you'll use search marketing, you'll use display, ATL, BDL, you'll use email, phone, mobile, social. All of these are your avenues of getting through the end customer, and your channels avenues as well. So if we kind of segregate these different media, we get a few groups. Obviously, there's physical events and web events, and the entire marketing mix that your marketing team focuses on. If we keep that aside for a moment and focus on what is happening aside of that, in terms of internal sales or external channels, what you will see is commonalities across email, mobile, and social. So it is these three media, and of course the web. It is these four groups that really you want to go out through to your end customers, and your channel does the same. So we know all about the web. Obviously, with every insurer, they have websites, they have microsites, they have aggregators who are selling for them. So the web is an important channel. When we talk about mobile, of course, like I said a bit earlier, mobile is important, in terms of enabling more access, more visibility into what you have to say directly or through your channels. Social is becoming very important because of the fact that I was recently at an event where a number of leading marketers from leading insurers on the East Coast, especially around New York, Boston, and Jersey, and Connecticut, that gathered, and they were exchanging views about the impact of social. And almost across the board, there was this big message of the fact that people born after 1986, who are the millennials, are really driving the social change. So social is a different phenomenon, a different beast altogether. And again, we'll be covering that in another session with you folks. But it is becoming an important channel because the buyer wants to be in control through social. They want two-way communication. They want to influence others, and they have the power to do so. So that's an important channel as well as far as reaching the end customers is concerned. And finally, you have the old school phone appointments, the relationship through phone, and that is always going to stay because at the end of the day, this is very much a business that's driven, hugely by relationships because of the very nature of the industry. And then there is email, which is important too. It's become important, and it's become probably the one medium which is most cost effective. It is one medium through which you can do a lot more than what you can do on your website because of the fact that it can be routed through programs. It can be intermittent. It can be set up to run for months, years, etc. And it has a wide reach. So for your website, you need to have people visiting there to know about you, or even going to aggregators. With email, you have the power to reach many more people. So it's one-to-many outbound communication. That is the power of email. So web, mobile, social, and email really comprise our 4 buckets there. All the action is as far as reaching the end customer is concerned. The theme of today's presentation was about engagement marketing, and one of the things that we really felt was for people to know on this session was the fact that what is engagement marketing? At the end of the day, is it just a concept, a term, something which is used to describe something which is complex? Well, it's all or none of these. So we'll talk a bit about engagement marketing and what it really means for channels and why we feel it's so important for you. We've looked at channels, we looked at their impact, we've looked at what customers are expecting from channels, we've looked at what producers really want to do, what is their areas of interest in terms of reaching out more and effectively to end customers. And we've also looked at the kind of media through which end customers can be reached. Now let's talk about some challenges, and these challenges are based on data, of course, data points. Over the past few years, they're based on a survey across different kinds of insurers and their channels. So there's a lot of people that have been spoken to. There's a lot of data that has been collected, and what you see here is some key points of challenges. So from a carrier's perspective, the lack of quality engagement touch points basically between carriers and their best customers, prospects, and producers is a big challenge. And what this does not tell you is the fact that, of course, I mean, if you have agents, brokers, and bank partners, you are talking to them, you're educating them, you're providing them the right tools. But we're talking about engagement in a slightly different context. We're talking about continuous engagement. Engagement that enables your channel from the time end customers come to them till the time customers stay with them. So what we are trying to say is mapping your end customer's life cycle to your channel. That is what we are referring to as lack of engagement. So engagement is sporadic. At certain stages it is high, at other stages it does not exist. And what we are saying is that that cannot be the right precedent for you to be doing better business with your channel. The other point is the lack of alignment. So marketing and sales, following up with prospects, tracking of results for various sales events. And when you kind of spread this out to your channel, the problems compound because they become much larger. So the channel is doing something on their own. They're doing a lot of marketing. They're selling. You're doing a lot of that as well. And this lack of alignment between what the marketing messaging is and how sales teams need to follow up, what's the product positioning for any particular solution or product. There is a universal lack of alignment in basically what is being said by these two different functions. When people are being called and they're being followed up on, is there a certain way in that is being done? Is that method being agreed upon with your channel partners, or is it something that they're doing completely on their own? Then tracking of results. So if you're using software like CRMs for tracking what is happening with your prospects and opportunities, is there a common thread between the producers and carriers, et cetera, et cetera. So we could go on and on. I mean, there's a lot to say here, but I think it's sufficient to say that research shows that there is a general lack of alignment between marketing and sales. The third point is cross-selling. So this vertical experiences a lot of revenue spikes through cross-selling and upselling both. But the key fact here is that if you don't really know what your customer profile or data looks like, then there is so much that you can do. Just so much that you can do to make another offering to them. Again, harping back to the lack of alignment that I spoke about. This lack of visibility of customer data is a serious issue. It's a serious issue because it directly impacts the ability to service and sell better to a customer after they have spent some time with you as a customer. If this data is not visible uniformly across the board, across your channels, then it's a problem. It's a problem because you're really shooting darts. You don't really know your customer well enough to be selling more to them. And then finally, we looked at another startling feature, and that's underserved accounts. So existing relationships, customers, again, they're not really being reached enough. As many as 35% of producers feel that really, they need more from their carriers. Accounts that are key, larger accounts that are contributing to revenue, they have a big bearing on how the relationship should be structured. So, so this is another important statistic in terms of how business can be run better between carriers and producers by better engagement. And we'll come to that. So what are key pillars of channel engagement and empowerment? So when we looked at them, it really boils down to 4 key pillars. One of them, of course, is recruitment, onboarding and recruitment of the right partners for your channel. Then there's education, and this education is about what your offerings are, what your products are, the kind of tools that you need to study about the product, data sheets, calculators, etc. There's a lot of education that's needed. Enablement, which is basically really giving your channel all the tools that they need to run their business smoothly and get revenue for you. And finally, empowerment, which is basically telling your channel that, look, these are all the things that you do in order for you to get better and more customers, and ultimately that has an impact on you as well as us from a revenue perspective. So we've kind of grouped a few key aspects under each of these pillars. So recruitment, when you're going out to the market to recruit a new agency, the kind of acquisition campaigns that you want to run for them. Are you giving options like multi-touch onboarding? Are you giving orientation emails? Are you sending those? Are you following any kind of analytics or tracking metrics to know how you're doing on your acquisition? Similarly, in terms of education, are you integrating any offline events with your channel's education? Are you looking at doing webinars or surveys or any kind of automated campaigns on emails, newsletters? A lot of these things are being done. Don't get me wrong, a lot of these things are being done and being done very well by a lot of insurers. What we're trying to say here is that these four pieces need to come together for true engagement and empowerment. You might be doing a few things well, and probably the activity is a bit more siloed than what you see here. But the key message from us to you is that all these four need to go hand in hand and be done equally well for you to truly realize the potential of your channels. Enablement again can start with giving policy reminders, transaction alerts and updates. A lot of features, functions, enablement, facilities, allowing producers to run campaigns based on templates. They don't have to really invent things, or reinvent the wheels every time they plan a new campaign. It should be as easy as 1, 2, 3, and go. Giving them the automation that a marketing automation or an email automation platform can really enable them. Integrating CRM and customer data, like I talked about the importance of customer data. And then empowerment, in terms of product updates, reminders and alerts about customers and about how they're moving through the life cycle. If they're existing customers, then what are you doing to empower your channel in terms of servicing them better and also collecting revenue. A host of other features like tools and calculators, surveys, polls, things are being done. A lot of marketing can be done with these tools and tactics, and it's up to you to really translate all of these tools and tactics to your channel. And then finally looking at what are preferences of customers, how do they want to be treated in terms of servicing. Are they good with features like online chat, or do they need more? There's so much more that we couldn't really capture everything in this visual, but the flavor here is that these four pillars need to work together for your channel to be truly empowered. What we also wanted to say here is that the engagement marketing strategy, as we define it or as we say it, really works across these four stages of any channel partner. Engagement marketing from a carrier to a producer starts with recruitment and goes all the way through education, enablement, and empowerment. At every stage, you need to market, communicate, and speak to your channel effectively through all these different tools, methods of outreach, tactics, etc. Again, there are key components for engagement marketing. You might be doing a lot of these things right now. You might have plans to do a lot of these things. But when you're talking to an end customer, obviously, you will be doing thought leadership. You'll have personalized and tailored, marketing content for customers at different life stages with different needs. But when you talk about your channel, you need to, again, effective recruitment programs can really build a healthy channel. Strong selling fundamentals through proper education, product collateral, thought leadership content, sales tactics, tools, and any other content assets are really going to be helpful to enable your channel partner. And then empowerment through, really working with them in an automated way across the end customer lifecycle. And I keep talking about the end customer lifecycle because ultimately it's a customer who's going to buy from you or your channel. So therefore, it makes sense to follow their journey, whether you're doing it directly or through your channel. There's a lot more that can be done by your channel, and what we truly want to communicate here is that through all of this, what we're trying to say is that it's not difficult to do it. When you look at your channel in its entirety, and when you look at your own business, I spoke about the various ways in which you reach your end customer, and I spoke about the importance of email. So if you look at that one medium of reaching your channel effectively and your channel reaching the end customer effectively, it all boils down to a few key things, right? And those few key things really drive your business. Are you able to effectively, reach your channel through email and tell them, this is what you need, this is what you need to do, these are all the facilities and tools we are providing you. Do all of that so that they are ready to go through their life cycle with the end customer. And then the channel has to do the same with the end customer. So it is a relationship-based thing from you to your channel and from your channel to your end customer. It has multiple touch points, and the importance of email really percolates through this entire process from you to your channel and from your channel to your end customer. It is at every stage. It can be used to drive so many things, and we've put in a few examples here. Compliance is big in insurance, and so doing compliance and ensuring that every sale is complied with in terms of your policies. That can be done through audit trails and reminders. It's just a very small example of what importance email has for you, and this can be done through email. Till a certain point, it can be done through email. Servicing, servicing producers effectively by sending automated alerts, any kind of CRM notification and reminders. Again, the customer data comes back into picture here when we're talking about really enabling your producers. We talk about really enabling them in the truest sense by giving them the kind of automated alerts they need, by telling them about customer data and reminding them that they need to take certain action to enable better acquisition or servicing for customers. Improving efficiency. So we're talking about email, and if it can be automated, it can provide up to 10x efficiencies. Campaigns can be rolled out faster, whether you're recruiting a new agent or your agent is trying to secure more deals in a particular geography through a particular new product launch. Everything is rolled out much faster, and therefore the speed to market, the speed of you getting your channel in place is faster. The speed of your channel getting to your end customer is even faster. Again, you'll have a lot of channel partners. Some of them will be best sellers. Some of them will be great accounts for you, great partners for you. Others will not be doing as well. So it's important to know who are your best agents, and then who are following the best practices, who are driving most top-line revenue for you, and those that are not. So improving others and doing even better with the ones that are doing well is something that you can do. But you need the right kind of data points and analytics to do so. So improving the ability to do more with your channels can only be achieved when you have the right visibility into their performance. Personalizing communication, again, segmentation and personalization is very much of the essence. I referred to the importance of social and the way millennials and younger audience are really driving everything. And for them, preferences and personalization is paramount. They wouldn't want to speak to somebody who does not understand their stage, their context, and their requirements. And they are very willing to have a two-way dialogue with you for that. But you need to understand that, and you need to communicate and speak to that. So again, personalization can only be driven if you have the right kind of data background to drive that personalization, the right kind of customer profiling. And when you do these things in-house, you have all the systems and data in place that can enable you. But when you talk about the channel or the independent agent or the broker who's running the business for you, who's doing sales for you, who's marketing for you, they need to be equally enabled on these aspects. Otherwise, they have a handicap, and they won't be able to produce the kind of results you're expecting them to produce. So these are some key aspects that ultimately really have an impact on how your channel can produce more revenue. Having looked at engagement marketing, and what it really means, we'll just quickly focus on, how does it really empower your channel. I think it's important to know what is the value of engagement marketing when, as far as empowerment for channels is concerned, and how do you do it actually is a more important thing. So we looked at several life cycles. We looked at the customer life cycle. We've looked at how channels need to reach out to end customers and how you are reaching out to your channels. And we isolated email as a very important tool of delivery. So if you look at how producers go about their business, and really from a carrier's perspective, this is how a new producer or an existing producer needs to be treated. Again, standard recruitment, there's education, and there's enablement. Right through this life cycle, you have a very important part that is being played by email, whether you are getting people in to be partnering with you, or you're educating them, or you're enabling them in any which way. And we've covered a lot of this in the past few slides. I just wanted to reiterate the importance that a simple and harmless and cost-effective tool like email can do for you. In this context, if you look at what automation can do for you, that's really where is a big, huge step taken towards empowering your channel. So you know your product well, you have the right go-to-market strategies for your product, you know what are the selling propositions of your product, you know your competition, you know your target audience. All that intelligence is already in there. It's already with you. You know how to do it. Now, this knowledge needs to be transitioned to your channel, and your customer needs to buy into your value proposition, your thought leadership, your content, and everything that you need to say about your product. For this to happen effectively, it needs to be happening on a sustained basis with a certain flow, in schedule, and as part of an overall program. Now, if we look at email, which is such an important tool, email can do a lot for you. But if you go back to the days, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when email really meant getting a huge database of people and really loading it into a database at your end into an Excel sheet, copy paste into a cheap email tool that you really install, having a marketing person doing a mega blast, and then again, and then again, and then again. Things have evolved since then. People are more aware on the on the fact that it's not really anything to do with email. It's really about giving marketing the kind of automation advantage that really can transform email marketing for customers or your channel. So when we talk about email really being an important tool for you and your channels, what we are saying is that it needs to be treated as a delivery tool, but it needs to be tied into your objectives. So investing in an email automation tool might be very, very helpful, might be very beneficial for you for all the reasons that we've covered in the past half an hour. But looking at your objectives is very important before you really look at a platform. So customer acquisition, agent recruitment, distribution channel revenue, all of these are objectives in their own sense at different parts of the life cycle. But you need to know what you need the automation to do for you, what you need the email tool to do for you. That's, I think, step one. And then strategy is the other important step, to begin with. How will you get your best channel partners, and how will they be able to sell effectively to end customers? If this is what you're going to go with, then you will always pick the right tool. You will program it and configure it to the way that you want, and you'll be able to transition all of that to your channel as well. You'll be able to enable your channel better using the same tool. Again, everything about emails is not about campaigns. It's about programs. It's about programs, and each program should have a logical outcome. When you talk about a marketing automation platform, we're not talking about a tool that can send emails out. We're talking about a program which can be fed into the tool with all the right strategy to back it up, with the right content to back it up, and with the right objectives at the bottom. So this is just delivery means, and it will do what you program it to do, but it's important that you know that it's always about the right programs and not about individual email campaigns when you look at automating email. Again, marketing automation is something that can help you market better to your channel, acquire better partners, helps your end customer right across the life cycle through your channel. So it's a twofold advantage. Like I mentioned in an earlier slide, it's about you reaching your channel and your channel reaching your end customer across the life cycle. Marketing automation can do that for you because email is an important medium. So as a summary, I think the most important aspect of of channel enablement through one particular medium of email can be achieved through marketing automation. So this is a delivery medium, and this is an expected, outcome of automation as far as your channel enablement is concerned. So if you were to look at holistically whatever we've covered in today's session, we've talked about various aspects of the importance of the channel. We talked about what customers really are looking forward to from channels. We talked about some challenges of what producers are really looking for and what carriers need to do to engage better with channels. Then we looked at the entire life cycle, producer to end customer, and before that, your carrier to producer. We isolated email as one medium which can truly do a lot of things for you in terms of your engagement marketing. And now finally, we'll wrap up this session with looking at what truly the value of engagement marketing could be for you. So the risk of repeating can really help recruit and educate a lot of your channel partners. It can get your channel up to speed on the type of technology and marketing automation you want them to. And this is a very important fact. This can be a very disjointed exercise if not done properly. You're using something which is working for you. It's important that your channel embraces that as far as possible. And again, I'm not saying that there won't be challenges here. There would be. But I think the core here is to get everybody aligned on a single objective. So digital technology and marketing automation can do a lot of things for your channel and for you if you're aligned with your channel on that. Ideally, we would suggest that you and your channel should function as one. So there should be uniformity across channels, marketing platforms, and functions, as far as you are concerned with what you are doing. Common insight, using single platforms wired into your CRM can truly deliver invaluable customer insight across your channel, and therefore personalized real-time marketing content or sales content can be delivered to your end audiences or end customers. This is a key data point as far as the value of engagement marketing is concerned. And finally, I talked about the importance of onboarding, servicing, cross-selling. Marketing automation does not just acquire customers through email. It will also enable you to service and cross-sell to customers across your channel. So whether it's alerts, payments, claims, anything to do with servicing or delivery of messaging from the time somebody becomes a customer till the time they stay with you, all of that can be automated through your marketing automation platform, whether you're selling directly or through your channel. So those are some key aspects of engagement marketing, how it can truly enable your channel, and what are some of the expectations that you can have if you do invest in an engagement marketing strategy.